Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another meal prep. Today, we are going to be doing a bunch of breakfast, lunches, and dinners. They are, of course, very simple, and most of the time, we're not going to be measuring. So if you like to cook or want to learn to cook without measuring, this is the video for you. And if you want some inspiration for your next meal prep, this is the video for you too. Let's get in the kitchen and let's meal prep. Those of you who are new, welcome to the High Path channel. My name is Rosa, and we are a plant-based large family of 7. We like to do everything from scratch as much as possible, including grinding up our own wheat and, making our own beans from scratch. And we are also planning on growing our own vegetables. We can't wait to show you what we're going to grow this spring and summertime.
This week, I am making a list on our whiteboard here so that everyone knows what we're doing and what is on the list, and we are going to tackle it as a team.
Before we get started, we always like to prep things such as our vegetables. Like we want to make sure that we wash all of our vegetables, potatoes, all of the greens that we need for the meals that we're prepping. We also prepped a bunch of spelt flour. This is just homemade, or not homemade, but home ground spelt flour. We use our trusty Blendtec because we don't have a Nutrimill or like a grain mill. We used to have one, but it broke a while ago. We are saving up for one right now. Hopefully we can get to that goal with your help, of course. Now we're just using our Blendtec. This is the best blender ever. We've used this for a long time. So if you're in a market for a new blender, this one you should definitely get. I mean, if it can mill some flour, more than likely it's a good blender. So we have the link in the description if you're looking for a new blender for your home. In the back burner over here, I've been simmering and boiling up some chickpeas. We like to make it ourselves just to avoid the heavy metals from a canned chickpea as much as possible. I know it's not always possible, but it's also cheaper and better for you if you buy just the raw chickpeas and just boil it yourself. We soak these overnight and then we're just gonna boil it. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours roughly for it to boil up to make it as soft as we are used to in a canned chickpea. Now, we highly recommend soaking all of your beans overnight as much as possible to just start the digestive process.
Next, of course, we are getting all of our vegetables prepped. I have some collards, cauliflower, all sorts of things, and Grace is going to help me wash them.
Right now, we are making a very quick oat banana pancake. We're just going to mash up, well, it's actually a blender pancake. We have a full version of our blender pancakes that you use just regular flour with, but this one is just going to be a gluten-free option if you're looking for it. It's very, very simple. We have, how many bananas do we have? 5. So they're kind of small. So I would say like 5 bananas going in. Okay, grab half a cup of sugar. We typically don't really measure things, but in order to help you guys, if you guys want to make this, of course, I will have all the measurements in the description just so that you can make it yourself at home as well. So let's just try out 1 cup. Go get some apple cider vinegar and baking soda. So we're gonna do, let's do like 2 cups of oats. We keep all of our baking things in sort of a caddy like this because we like to keep like little muffin tins and like all of our extracts in here because it's so much more convenient if you just grab a whole basket. We just recently made a video on our kitchen makeover and also like little organization hacks and organizational ideas on a budget. If you want to see that video, we have it also linked in the description, so you can check that out. Put about a teaspoon baking soda. I'm gonna do like half a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You can use plant milk if you want to. We're just going to use some water here just to keep it simple.
When you're adding water, adjust to your thickness and likeness. We started off with about a half a cup in ours, and you can see that it's a perfect pancake batter. We're of course making some pancakes on our nice griddle here. We're just warming it up, brushing some grapeseed oil, and making pancakes.
Okay, come over to our sort of corner for all of our baking and really just baking needs. This is our baking corner. So Mercy is going to start working on some bread dough. We are going to attempt to make some bagels today. Wish us luck. Now I've already written a little bit of a recipe for our bread dough. This is a very, very simple bread dough here. And then on Mercy's notebook so she can kind of look at it, and then we're gonna make it, and we will have this recipe, of course. Now I am in charge of doing all the chopping. Isaiah was supposed to help me out, but he is tasked to do some boy things, so I'm just gonna be chopping everything.
I'll help you.
Grace is gonna help me whenever she can. So we're going to lay out a few baking sheets here. Now for those of you who don't know, we went plant-based because of health reasons. Specifically for my husband, he has some autoimmune issues that he is dealing with. And then our son, he was quite overweight. He was like 190 pounds at 10 years old, and that is quite heavy, if you can imagine. So we had to do something. We changed our lifestyle. We just went plant-based about 1.5 years ago, roughly. And I've lost a ton of weight and I feel really good. I don't feel like I'm lacking minerals or like protein. Like, I know a lot of non-vegan or non-plant-based people would worry, oh, like, where are you going to get all of your protein from if you go plant-based and things like that. Well, let me ask you this. What is protein really? Protein is amino acids, right? And all of our vegetables that we're eating, even potatoes, even our celery, carrots, anything, any potato or any vegetable has a ton of amino acids. All of these amino acids make up protein. And so the more vegetables you eat, you're getting protein in your diet. And yeah, of course, we eat like beans and sometimes tofu, or we eat lentils, things like that. But really, vegetables have a ton of amino acids that can really help you intake that protein that you think that you need. We don't need a ton of meat or like protein to survive. And in fact, you're actually going to do even better on a plant-based diet. And this is like, it's definitely proven to help us and benefit us in a family. You know, we have definitely learned a lot. My husband is a thorough researcher and he goes deep diving in anything that he's interested in. And so we've done our research, and we highly suggest that you do some research too. If you are thinking about going plant-based, we highly suggest that you do it.
Now let's get started on chopping most of our vegetables. We are starting off with some potatoes.
In the background, we already have prepped the bread dough. It's just a very basic bread dough that we came up with. And so we found that this bread dough can literally make anything from cinnamon rolls to like bread. So it's just kind of like an all-purpose bread dough that we like to use. And it's so simple as well. The kids are very equipped to just make it. So if the kids can make it, I'm pretty sure you can too. Now, today we're going to make a loaf of bread, and then we're also going to be using it for some bagels. This is our first time making, this is not the first time we're making bagels. Woo! My eyes.
I'm lucky.
Okay, let me just chop this onion real quick. This is not the first time that we're making bagels. However, I wanted to try it again, and we'll see how it's like. I plan on making sort of an everything but the bagel seasoning at home. We have like sesame seeds. We've got onion powder and garlic powder. Actually, we don't have garlic powder, but we'll just use some onion powder. I'm sure it's going to taste perfectly fine. Woo, okay, my eyes. Okay.
I'm saying
that was a very, very strong onion. Woo. Because we chopped up potatoes, I decided to do every potato dish that we're planning to do all at once. So that way we don't have to go back and forth making each dish. So this is kind of like my little conveyor belt sort of thing. We have some hash here. We've got a gratin, and we've got some roast potatoes that's going to be marinating for dinner tonight for Trey. Seasoning will be basically kind of the same. We have some oil going in for each one. Look who came to join us. It's Isaiah. He's gonna come and help chop vegetables.
You betrayed us. Like you peel and I'll chop.
No, you're gonna peel, Isaiah.
Isaiah is helping me chop vegetables. We've got zucchini, bell peppers, onions, broccoli in here. The more hands, the merrier. We are getting everyone helping and everyone is working at their stations. The chickpeas are done and now we're just leaving them to the side.
Now we are multitasking, so I am here just checking on our bread dough here, which I'm going to do a bit of a stretch and fold type thing, or really just kneading it again to develop some gluten.
Typically, white all-purpose flour forms more gluten really quickly as opposed to freshly milled spelt flour who forms less gluten. Now we're going back to seasoning all of our vegetables. We are going with Italian seasoning, paprika, we have onion powder, you can put garlic powder, you can really use anything that you like. Once everything is seasoned, Isaiah is putting the hash in the oven to roast. We also have 2 pots going on in the background, one for gratin and one for mac and cheese sauce. And this bag of potatoes are just going to be marinating for dinner tonight. Next thing I have Mercy working on in the baking section is a brownie baked oatmeal. We sort of freestyled this. It actually tasted really good with lots of rich chocolate flavor. We're going to put it in a 9x9 and we can bake it in the oven for about 45 minutes at 350. Grace is now working on the pot of mac and cheese sauce. In this pot, we have boiled up a head of cauliflower, about 1 to 2 cups of cashews. You can also add like butternut squash. Once it's softened up, we are going to now blitz it with some nutritional yeast, some salt and onion powder. And Israel here is just separating our very par-cooked elbows into 2 separate pans.
We are blitzing this sauce here. Now, typically, we like to just leave it as is. We just use the cauliflower, like a head of cauliflower. You can put some onions if you want to, and the cashews to make it creamy. We've got some nutritional yeast. We haven't really measured. It's about a 1/4 cup or 1/2 cup if you want to use as much or as little as you want. We also added about, I would say, 1/2 cup of plant milk. Now here's the thing. We don't really measure our food, so I would love to teach you guys how not to measure and how to just go off of like your senses, your sight, and your taste. If you like a thicker sauce, of course, I'm not going to give you a recipe that requires more liquid because you don't like it. So I would encourage you to just kind of just cook and adjust as you go. If you want more salt, add some more salt. If you want some more onion powder, add some more onion powder. We are starting a series on home cooking 101, basically just me cooking in the kitchen and helping those of you out as a friend, just to teach you guys, you know, if you guys do not have experience in the kitchen, I would love to help you out just to teach you just like the basics and really how to cook for your family without measuring and without the whole stress of measuring. And yeah, I will have the link in the description for the very first Home Cooking 101 video if you're interested. So in this sauce, we're going to put a bit of extra stuff today because I want to amp up some of the amino acid levels in here. So we're going to actually add some hemp seeds. Now, as you can see, we go through quite a bit of hemp seeds because we love using hemp seeds for anything that we can. So I have some hemp seeds here that we are going to, usually we fill up a mason jar like this and we just use it up during the week. I'm going to fill this up, but we are going to put about a cup of this in our mac and cheese just to amp up that amino acid or protein levels. And then we're going to add a little bit more water or plant milk here just to make it creamy for the mac and cheese.
Hemp seeds are so versatile, they do blend up really creamy. You just want to add enough water just to make it creamy. You will adjust it to your own liking, so if you want it a little bit loose, add some more water. If you want it thicker, just add less water. We're pouring this on our elbow macaroni and it is ready to go. Next, we're working on the gratin sauce. This is just boiled up cauliflower and carrots. We're pouring it on our chopped up, already seasoned vegetables here. Of course, we seasoned the cauliflower sauce as well. We're going to zhuzh it up, cover it up, and it's ready to be baked later. By now, our hash is done. Hash is basically like country potatoes. It's nice and crispy, and our brownie baked oatmeal is done too. Time to punch down our dough, and it is time to roll out some bagels. Now, this is really just an experiment. We don't make bagels very often, so we are here just slowly figuring it out by ourselves. So first, we're rolling up the dough ball for our loaf just to get that out of the way, and now it's going to be proofing. Then we're going to portion out our flour for our bagels. I do know typically bagels should be a little bit bigger, but today we're just gonna make little bagels for snacking. I will definitely work on this bagel recipe to perfect it a little bit better for next time. But the gist of it, we are just rolling each individual ball into a sausage, and meanwhile I decided to bake the bread that is nice and risen.
Right now we're working on the bagels now. It's not very pretty. It is a little soft, so I think we're going to have to play around with this recipe and try to figure it out. We're boiling it right now, and then we're gonna bake it up. Who knows how it'll do, but it's gonna be delicious either way.
I noticed the dough was quite soft, so I had to re-roll them before I put them in a hot boiling water pot. Once they were boiled, I then just topped it with some salt, some onion powder. I would have put some garlic powder if we had some, and some sesame seeds on top. We're then just baking it in the oven until it is nice and ready. And voila! It actually turned out pretty beautiful, actually. Trey was curious about what we were cooking. It's something out of the norm, and he decided he needed to check it out and see what we're up to.
In this station now, we're making 2 pasta salads. We have some tricolor, just rotini. We also have some orzo. We're gonna make some pasta salad here. We have some chickpeas for some protein, amino acids. We got some red cabbage, really just anything that we have on hand. Some bell peppers, celery, broccoli, just to add some crunch to it. And then we're gonna add a hemp sauce, which we're gonna make, or like a hemp dressing. Just to make it easy, we're going to just use the same exact dressing for both of them. All right, we have the 2 bowls here of pasta salad without the dressing. So we're gonna make a very quick dressing out of hemp seeds. We need some mustard. We've got some olive juice, which I'm gonna use as well. May as well, because it's briny and, you know, there's some flavor to it. So we are just gonna hand blend this. You can use a blender if you want to, if you have. Just make it easy, and I don't wanna dirty a whole big blender. We're just gonna use a hand blender. So we have, this is a 1/3 cup, so we need about, we have about a cup and a half roughly of hemp seeds. You can put more, and in fact you can just put the hemp seeds directly in there as well. Wouldn't hurt. Just for some extra something. Maybe about a 1/3 cup of the brine. Onion powder going in. I'm using Dijon, but you can use any other mustard. Maybe like, I would say like,
About like 3 tablespoons.
That's about 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons and a half. About 3 tablespoons. You can use hemp oil if you want. We love using hemp oil if you have. Don't forget your salt. We're gonna put about half a tablespoon. We have 2 pasta salads, so it's gonna require a little bit more salt, but you can definitely add however much you want.
And then of course some freshly squeezed limes or lemon juice. We have some lemon juice which were really super duper hard. Like the skin was so thick, and it was such a struggle juicing these lemons. Once all the ingredients are in this measuring cup, we're just going to add some water if needed, and then we're going to blend it up until nice and smooth.
So let's just start off with a little bit, and then we'll add more.
As I started to mix this orzo salad, I realized I definitely needed a bigger bowl. So I'm going to transfer our orzo salad into a way bigger bowl, so that way mixing it will be way easier. As you're mixing anything, really a pasta salad, you want to make sure that you are going in for taste tests.
Oh, that's good.
Once it's adjusted to your liking, don't forget when you put it in the fridge to chill, it's going to lose a little bit of flavor. So you want to make sure that you're a little heavy-handed with the seasonings.
All right, we have a lot of items already prepped, but I wanted to make 2 more things, and it's really for dinners, some quick dinners. So I have something called loba. Now, if you're from Taiwan, you would know what loba is. It's basically, it's pork. It's like stewed pork with some spices in it. Well, of course, we're not gonna use pork, and we're not gonna use some meat. We're gonna use some tofu. I replicated this taste, and it was so nostalgic to me that I wanted to make it for our tofu. So we're gonna use some tofu, we're gonna stew it, and then we just serve it with rice, which is awesome. And then I'm also going to make a very quick broccoli and chickpeas. It's kind of like beef and broccoli, but with chickpeas.
We're going to start off by chopping aromatics, and I have some red cabbage going into my pan right here too.
In the laba or lu rou, we are going to be using some star anise. This is the key ingredient. It adds like this beautiful anisey flavor. If you haven't tried like Chinese-y type of seasonings, you should definitely try some star anise. It looks like a star. It's like we're going to use 1 or 2 of these in here. We're toasting the onions, ginger, and some garlic in here before we add the tofu. In this one, which is our broccoli cheddar, I have some leftover red cabbage. You don't have to use some red cabbage. I'm just adding it because I have some leftovers. So then we're going to add some really quick already chopped frozen broccoli in here, and some chickpeas, and some coconut aminos to season it up.
This was a lot of vegetables in my small little pan, but that is okay. We are using what we've got. We are just now mixing everything and giving it a good stir. I added my tofu into my laba, and we are seasoning it with a little bit of salt for both and some coconut aminos for both as well. Since both of these use similar ingredients, this is a very easy way to just multitask and make 2 things at once. We're also going to add a little bit of water just to help steam and stew these vegetables and tofu. And in this dish, we're adding some sesame seeds as well, just for some added textures and something fun. Look at the lovely colors in this dish, and the tofu is going to stew for a little bit.
One more thing I forgot to prep, which was on the list, is some sweet potato, like roasted sweet potato or sweet potato spicy hash. So Israel's gonna help me chop some. I'm gonna help him chop as well, and we're gonna get that done. We're almost out of time because I have to work on a few other things, but we're almost there.
Thank goodness for Israel helping me to get this done. We're going to season it really well with some salt, grapeseed oil, ancho chili powder, smoked paprika, and some chili chipotle spice. And then we were finished. Look at this spread. Look how beautiful. We have a ton of items here that are perfect for breakfast, lunches, dinners, all of it. We did indeed lose a little bit of audio here, so let me just talk through what we made. We've got a lovely loaf of bread. We have some hemp milk leftovers, some bagels that we made, a beautiful hash, which is nice and roasted and crispy. Perfect for breakfasts and lunches. We have a pan of mac and cheese. We've already eaten 1 pan because the kids couldn't wait, of course. We have a pasta salad here, which we made plenty of. We also have an orzo salad, some beautiful breakfast prep, which is our brownie baked oatmeal. We also made a beautiful vegetable gratin for tray for dinner tonight. Our prepped laba, which we can serve with rice. It is nice and saucy. We also have our beautiful chickpea cabbage, chickpea broccoli, which is so flavorful. It's so delicious. And of course, served with rice. Gorgeous. I also did chop up some Swiss chard or collard green mix just to make greens or anything that we want to put greens in. There you go. We have a ton of food prepped and everything looks and smelled so delicious.
We really hope that you enjoyed spending time with us in the kitchen meal prepping today. I hope you got some inspiration for your next meal prep. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.